park it. Over here.
That would be like a head puppet. Yeah. Back to the castle. Oh, you're doing the Calgary Festival? Yeah, Calgary.
After we get on Indiana Jones. But honestly,
interrogate you.
All the buttons.
Instead of the Mickey, like factory out there.
Look, actually mine.
By the time we get there, we'll be done. I don't know if you guys want to do this first since it's right here.
Where are you? Let Grandma have this. Make Grandma have this.
I know, it's actually on this. It's really cool. We're gonna go to Star Wars.
We got look, splash on not any.
Get an order to the hotel.
This is free, bro.
Let's go see Winnie the Pooh, and then we're gonna go grab our
Susanna, it's like flip, flip, flip. Everything is done. I want to hit up Indiana Jones.
Y ahorita para
Get on a pirate?
What's the next ride?
That has that canyon. No, I said.
You never said we were going to Disneyland. I could have taken Aiden on the roller Because I think our they were trying to figure it into like Six Flags or something. And Priscilla was like, I can't do that.
You can see the left-hand side for me.
One. Thank you.
There you go. Personal space, like over for 2 more. Alright. So we woke up this morning and said Disneyland Jungle Cruise, gotta do it. Nice, 2 people. Who said Jungle Cruise is 15 minutes? Absolutely. You can sit right in the doorway too, right where you're standing. Let's get the wild animals out. And for those who come in the back door, once again, you can sit right there in that doorway if you'd want. Now once I hear those 3 magic words, alright, wave goodbye to all those beautiful people on the dock. Wave goodbye to everyone else. Welcome aboard the world-famous Jungle Cruise. My name doesn't matter, and for your safety, please remain seated, keeping all of your hands, arms, feet, and legs to the boat at all times. And parents, watch those beautiful children, and your other children too. If you're sitting in the first 10 rows of the boats, you're in the splash zone, so be prepared for that. Now, if you were to lose anything in the water, such as hats, glasses, cell phones, or ears, please raise your hands to let me know. I will also raise my hand and we'll both wave goodbye to it. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and put on those seatbelts. Have a little Leo out of the way. Who's ready to see some dinosaurs? Now, we don't have those here. But on your left, we have an Indo-Chinese tiger. Now, does anyone here happen to know why tigers are striped? To avoid being spotted. But in the water on your left is my pet crocodile, Ginger. Careful there, folks. Yeah, Ginger snaps. We're now entering the Indian elephant bathing pool. Take as many pictures as you like. They all have their trunks on. They're not normally this wrinkly, they've been in there for a while. What a known fact about the Indian elephant is that they can grow up to 4 feet. And that's remarkable because most people can only grow up to 2 feet. That one takes a while. That one's really dangerous. Let's get closer. Oh dear, this family of gorilla have taken over this camp. They don't make any banana noises. They find that to be very appealing. Oh, look what they did to that Jeep. They left the lights on. I'll never get that thing to turn over. On your left, you'll see absolutely nothing. But straight ahead is the world-famous Schweitzer Falls, named after the famed humanitarian Dr. Albert Falls. Don't you worry about that one, we're going to be going over it later. Now we have just turned down the Nile River because it was way too loud. That one also takes a while. Another fun fact for you is that the Nile River is one of the longest rivers in the world and over 4,000 miles long. Luckily for all of you, I know a shortcut because we are now leaving the Nile River and entering the African belt, which is home to many wonderful species of animals, such as vintage horses. They're vintage because they're still in black and white. Long-necked cheetahs. And those things. And would you look at this family of stray cats watching over that vintage horse sleep? He looks dead tired. But I let him rest in peace. Oh, that's something you don't see every day. Look at how many rocks are on that beach. Gotta be at least 12 rocks on that beach. speaking of beaches, did you know they call sand sand because it's between sea and land? That's a lie, I made that up. Okay, we're entering a pool of dangerous hippopotami. Hippos are responsible for sinking 5 of our 7 boats, but don't worry, only 4 of them were mine. Oh, they're gonna charge the boat. Everyone cover your ears, I'm gonna scare them away real quick. Yeah, see that? Scared them stiff. You can tell by the blank look on their faces, they're petrified with fear. Now people like to tell me all the time that my job is so easy that a monkey can do it. But I'll have those people know that these are apes, not monkeys. Let's find a new place to crash. Never floats their boat. And on your left, nothing bugs those two. I call that one a net. I call that one magnifying glass. Now this is the moment you have all been waiting for, so put those hands together for the 8th wonder of the world. This is the backside of water. Yeah, you won't see that anywhere else. Ahead on your left. Now this is the Amazon River Basin, or at least I think it is. Honestly, I'm just kind of making it up at this point. And straight ahead, that snake in that tree is a python. Now pythons can grow to be 3.141592526 meters long. That's just irrational. But what's a Jungle Cruise without an official Jungle Cruise souvenir? Those 2 monkeys right there, they're trying to set a record. That monkey on that camera, we're not paying him to do that. No, he's just doing it for the exposure. And with that, folks, I think it's safe to say you've managed to survive the world-famous Jungle Cruise. Now this time, please make sure all of your hands, arms, feet, legs, heads, and elbows are inside the boat at all times. And please remain seated. Quit talking while I'm interrupting. Out of all my cruises today, you have certainly been the most recent. As you approach the dock, watch those arms, watch those elbows, keep them inside the boat for me, please, away from the outside. And now on the count of 3, and only on the count of 3, go ahead and please stand up. 3. Watch your step there, watch your head, you'll exit the same way you entered. Don't cross to that brown thing in the middle, I don't know what that is. Watch your step there, watch your head. Don't be afraid to use those handrails.
Friends, watch your heads, watch your step.
And finally, one last joke for all you mind readers out there.
Oh, yeah, friend. Time for a refresh.
Maybe one. Okay, we'll be at the bakery. Oh, give me my phone. I will just say. Space Mountain didn't have a line. You were so lucky, I know.
Welcome everyone, I'm Robin Roberts. While we are waiting to enter the theater for Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, we'd like to tell you the story of an unlikely friendship that transformed America forever.
Under his wise and beneficent rule, we saw ourselves gradually lifted from the depths of slavery to the heights of liberty and manhood. Though we waited long, we saw all this and more.
Abraham Lincoln is known as the Great Emancipator, but the moniker wasn't earned overnight. It would take the tireless work of the abolitionist movement, led by Frederick Douglass, who himself was born enslaved, to guide Lincoln towards the cause of freedom.
I am alike familiar with the whip and chain of slavery, and the lash and sting of public neglect and scorn, that my back is marked with the one, and my soul is fettered with the other.
After years of opposition, these two giants would find common ground and change the course of history. 10 years before the Emancipation Proclamation was enacted,
if all earthly power were given me, I should not know what to do as to the existing institution.
Oh, had I the ability, and could I reach the nation's ear, I would today pour out a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder.
Frederick Douglass never had a pair of pants or shoes until he was about 6 or 7 years old. He would sleep head first in an old corn sack with his feet hanging out on cold winter nights to try and keep himself warm.
teaching the enslaved to read was illegal, so young Frederick secretly traded what little food he had in exchange for reading lessons.
It just shows how much he understood how education was going to be his key to freedom.
And a key to freedom it was. At the age of 20, Douglass made a daring escape and went north, settling in Massachusetts. There he soared. From orator,
The one cannot be truly free, while the other is a slave.
to newspaper editor,
Truth is of no color.
and best-selling author.
From that moment, I understood the pathway from slavery to freedom.
He was the central voice of the abolitionist movement.
He had this natural gift for communication. He was eloquent. He was charismatic.
There wasn't a venue, a building large enough to hold people who wanted to hear him.
Would you have me argue that man is entitled to liberty? That he is the rightful owner of his own body? Must I argue the wrongfulness of slavery? At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument, is needed.
Much of Douglass's irony was directed towards Washington, D.C. and Abraham Lincoln, the anti-slavery president who took office just as the Civil War began in 1861.
Anti-slavery is very different than being an abolitionist. It was very gradual that most anti-slavery candidates believed in the abolition of slavery.
I do not suppose that ultimate extinction would occur in less than 100 years at the least.
That would have put the end of slavery in 1958. And for Frederick Douglass, that's outrageous.
Mr. Lincoln is quite a genuine representative of American prejudice, and far more concerned for the preservation of slavery.
Douglas was relentless in his fight for freedom, and with the steady drumbeat of the abolitionist movement in his ear, Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing enslaved people in the southern states, and for the first time, making it legal for all black men to fight in the Civil War. These new soldiers injected the Union Army with much-needed manpower, but still, they faced discrimination and disparity.
Douglas is so outraged that he makes a trip to D.C. and decides he wants to meet with Lincoln himself.
To his surprise, Lincoln agreed to see him immediately.
He was ushered up past all of the people that were waiting to see Lincoln that day. And just imagine this visual of this black man just bounding up the steps, and people are looking at him like, who is that?
Lincoln begins the conversation and he says, "Hello, Mr. Douglas," essentially. "It's good finally to meet you. I've read your writings a lot. I know you've been very critical of me."
Their one-on-one left a lasting impression on both men, and Lincoln vowed to improve the conditions for black soldiers.
My whole interview with the president was gratifying and did much to assure me that slavery would not survive the war and that the country would survive both slavery and war.
A year later, it is Lincoln who needs Douglas's help.
He feels he's going to lose re-election, essentially says, "I need you. I think the war's going badly."
Lincoln entrusted Douglas with creating a plan for aiding the escape of enslaved people from rebel territory so that they could join the Union cause.
Douglas writes a detailed letter to Lincoln spelling out his vision of these special forces.
He did not let me feel for a moment that there was any difference in the color of our skins. The president is a most remarkable man.
With Douglas's support, Lincoln would go on to turn the tide of the war and win re-election. The following year, Douglas returned to Washington once more to attend the inauguration.
Now in this multitude of elite of the land, I felt myself a man among men.
It's the first time a president devotes most of the speech to African Americans.
1/8 of the whole population were colored slaves.
Frederick Douglass heard his words and his language in Lincoln's address.
Until every drop of blood drawn with the lash shall be paid by another drawn with the sword.
The work that he had done over so many years, he was now hearing this at a very important moment in time in the nation's history.
Douglas is invited to the White House for a reception, sees Douglas enter, and he yells out,
"Here comes my friend, Frederick Douglass. There is no man in the country whose opinion I value more than yours."
Mr. Lincoln, that was a sacred effort.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom.
Frederick Douglass spoke truth to power, and he never stopped fighting for his people, and he understood that the struggle continued. He said, without struggle,
there is no progress. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will.
And now, here is Walt Disney to talk a little more about the nation's 16th president, Abraham Lincoln.
Ever since I was a youngster, I've had a great personal admiration for Abraham Lincoln. So when we decided to bring to Disneyland's visitors some great moments in Mr. Lincoln's life, we began an exhaustive research. We wanted to bring to the people of today the inspiring words of the man who held this nation together during its moment of greatest crisis, the Civil War. To start with, we were fortunate in being able to secure this life mask of the 16th president. How do we get this, Blaine?
This is actually a copy of an original life mask by the sculptor Leonard Volk.
Before Lincoln was president?
Before Lincoln was president.
Before he had a beard?
That's right.
During our exhaustive research into Lincoln's life, we studied his mannerisms, his gestures, and even his voice characteristics to create a faithful likeness of this honored man. The final result is so lifelike that you might find it hard to believe. Now let's go into the Opera House and listen carefully to the words of Mr. Lincoln, spoken by him a century ago, but which still apply today to free men everywhere.
If you would now please pass through the doors leading to our theater, we welcome you to Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln.
All right, folks, for your safety, please remain behind the red line of carpet as we're on our way towards the gate. As a reminder, there's no food or drinks permitted inside the theater. If you have an easy remote or basket, please reserve the center aisle underneath the brass table. Please watch your stuff as you get through. Hello and welcome to the Disneyland Opera House. During our show, please refrain from eating, drinking, and smoking. Please also silence your phones at this time. If at any time during our show you need to leave, we're going to ask you to please exit towards your right. Just gently push on the door there and go to your left through the curtains back onto Main Street. This is also the same direction you're going to go at the conclusion of our show. This show first debuted in 1964 at the World's Fair Tour in New York City, and later was brought here in 1965 to Disneyland. It truly is a Disney treasure, as it was the last thing Walt Disney directed himself. The human animatronic here is the first humanoid animatronic in the world, and it had over 20 different facial features where people thought that it was actually a live person. Now, through the magic of Disney, I now present to you Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Majesties of the
American dream, the prayer for the future. But that golden goal was not to be had without cost. The American way was not gained in a day. It was born in adversity, forged out of conflict, perfected and proven only after long experience and trial. In all of history, no man was dedicated to this dream more than the 16th President of these United States, Abraham Lincoln. Here in his own words is what he once wrote about himself. For at that time, very few people outside Illinois knew very much about this man from the prairie.
I was born February 12th, 1809, in Hardin County, Kentucky. My father removed from Kentucky to what is now Spencer County, Indiana, in my 8th year. It was a wild region, with many bears and other wild animals still in the woods. There I grew up. I was large for my age, and had an axe put into my hands at once. And from that to my 23rd year, was almost constantly handling that most useful instrument. I think that the aggregate of all my schooling did not amount to 1 year. At 21, I came to Illinois. Thought of trying to study law. Rather thought I could not succeed at that without better education. I borrowed some law books, took them home, and went at it in good earnest. In 1854, the law profession had almost superseded the thought of politics in my mind, when the repeal of the Missouri Compromise aroused me as I had never been before. What I have done since then is pretty well known. If any personal description of me is thought desirable, it may be said I am in height, 6 feet 4 inches, nearly, lean in flesh, weighing on an average of 180 pounds, dark complexion, with coarse black hair and gray eyes, and no other marks or brands recollected. Yours very truly, A. Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln became president faced with the terrible threat of civil war, a thing he dreaded, yet a calamity he was prepared to meet if he must.
Without union, the Constitution is only a piece of paper. I know there is a God, and that he hates injustice and slavery. I see the storm coming. I know his hand is in it. If he has a place, work for me, and I think he has, I believe I'm ready. And with God's help, I shall not fail.
April 12, 1861, Fort Sumter. The cannon spoke for war. Civil war, violent, devastating. Now had come the reckoning, the supreme test that would decide whether a republic founded on liberty could survive the terrible strife of men's passions.
Two brothers on their way, two brothers on their way, two brothers on their way. One wore blue and one wore gray. One wore blue and one wore gray as they marched along their way. The fife and drum began to play, all on a beautiful morning. One was gentle, one was kind. One was gentle, one was kind. One came home, one stayed behind. A cannonball don't pay no mind. A cannonball don't pay no mind. If you're gentle or if you're kind. It don't think of the folks behind. Hold on a beautiful morning. Hold on a beautiful
Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure.
10 brief sentences. So simple, so direct. Abraham Lincoln had not expected his words to live beyond their temporary moment. But time and history would dictate otherwise. And so today, his Gettysburg Address is immortal, a rich and treasured part of our country's heritage. We pay tribute here not to a man who lived a century ago, but to an individual who lives today in the hearts of all freedom-loving people. His prophetic words are as valid for our time as they were for his. And now, the skills of the sculptor and the talents of the artist will let us relive great moments with Mr. Lincoln.
The world has never had a good definition of the word liberty. And the American people just now are much in want of one. We all declare for liberty, but in using the same word, we do not all mean the same thing. What constitutes the bulwark of our liberty and independence? It is not our frowning battlements, our bristling sea coasts. These are not our reliance against tyranny. Our reliance is in the love of liberty, which God has planted in our bosoms. Our defense is in the preservation of the spirit which prizes liberty as the heritage of all men, in all lands, everywhere. Destroy this spirit, and you have planted the seeds of despotism around your own doors. At what point shall we expect the approach of danger? By what means shall we fortify against it? Shall we expect some transatlantic military giant to step the ocean and crush us with a blow? Never. All the armies of Europe, Asia, and Africa combined could not by force take a drink from the Ohio or make a track on the Blue Ridge in a trial of 1,000 years. At what point, then, is the approach of danger to be expected? I answer, if it ever reach us, it must spring from amongst us. It cannot come from abroad. If destruction be our lot, we ourselves must be its author and finisher. As a nation of free men, we must live through all times, or die by suicide. Neither let us be slandered from our duty by false accusations against us, nor frightened from it by the menaces of destruction to the government, nor of dungeons to ourselves. Let us have faith that right makes might. And in that faith, let us to the end dare to do our duty as we understand it.
I'm not sure what that is, but hell yeah, you win. That's it. Mickey always wins. The house wins. The house of house wins. No matter what.
Why you want to go in there? But yeah, she left maybe like 2020, I think.